doing my presentation on a certain cartoon that maybe you have heard or not heard of, and you might not be expecting to be talking about, and that is My Little Pony, Friendship is Magic. I'll just be explaining the history of the show and how it got popular among the demographic that doesn't seem like it would be a demographic which is adult males aged 18 and up. So, start with the history. Now, My Little Pony started out as a toy franchise around the 1980s, and it was acquired by a company called Hasbro. And to promote this toy line, they started doing animations from the 1980s up until about 2009, and all these animations were really, really, really bad. They just sucked really bad. So the show was just in the gutter. So they wanted to reboot the whole franchise to appeal to a more modern generation of girls and reboot the franchise. So that's when they hired Lauren Faust. Now, Lauren Faust is known for doing animations such as Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends and the Powerpuff Girls, which is also an animation that is supposed to be for little girls, but they appeal to a male demographic. So she pitched her idea for My Little Pony by giving characters diverse personalities and diverse characteristics that weren't shown in earlier animations, and giving plot lines that dealt with moral values. And the company really liked her idea, so they hired her as executive producer of the show. And so she got all this money and everything and started hiring famous animators. One, Craig McCracken, which is her husband and is also the creator of Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends and Powerpuff Girls. And this whole process took about a year until the show premiered on October 10th, 2010 on a channel called The Hub, which shows other cartoons. And when the show first premiered, it got pretty good reviews from other critics, like commenting about the plot and the characters and how good it was. But there were also some critics that criticized the show rather harshly, one of them being a woman named Kathleen Richter. Kathleen Richter she's a feminist news writer, and she made an article that saying the show was sexist and racist. She said one of the characters, this one, Rainbow Dash, because of her rainbow color and her tomboy nature, gave the impression that all tomboys were lesbians. And she also commented because of a white leader pony and darker colored guards, that gave the impression of white supremacy and racism.
Wow, really? Oh my gosh.
Lauren Faust made a rebuttal of all these claims, saying they were just stupid, like how color was never an indication of a race of a pony, and that's just dumb. And how saying tomboyish nature of a certain character and define that as a lesbian sexual orientation is very degrading to lesbians and straight women. And now there was another article about the show as well by a guy named Amita Amidi, and now this one was more about how the show was just about how it was just using it to promote the franchise, the toy line, and all that stuff, and how animation was just promoting big business and all that. And that leads to the next level about how the show gained popularity. Now, because of this article, it gained attention on a website called 4chan, which is a forum-based website that talks about different kind of categories of different kinds of things, and one of them being a cartoon board. Now, the people of the cartoon board noticed this article and thought it was really interesting, and they gained interest in the show. And so they took a look at the show, and they actually thought it was pretty good. So they started commenting about the show on the website and all that. And there are also people on the 4chan website that really hated the show and mocked and criticized the people who liked the show, and this whole internet war thing on the board was going on, which led to the moderators of the website having to ban anything doing with My Little Pony for a little bit, but it eventually went back up. Now, the male demographic fans that watch the show are known as Bronies, which is a combination of the word bro and pony just put together. And so you would think that the creators and the production team of the show would think like, why are adult males watching the show? That's kind of weird. This show is kind of meant for 6-year-old girls. But instead, they actually supported them and actually appreciated them having an open eye of a little kid show and saying that, and promoting the idea that if the show is good, then there should be no demographic at all. And so they started putting in references in the show that would appeal to an adult audience. One of them being of The Big Lebowski, which is a rated R movie, by making pony versions look kind of like the characters in Big Lebowski. And while doing these references, they also put in references to different pony characters that the fandom has influenced in the show. One of them being this pony. She was only in for an episode for about 7 seconds, but the fandom quickly grew attached to her because of her distinct look, and so they gave her the nickname Vinyl Scratch and a DJ name called DJ Pone 3. And so the production team noticed this and they adopted the name DJ Pone 3, and now it's a canonized name, which means it's just a legit name for the pony. Now there's another pony that is famous throughout the fandom, but it's not really canonized yet, is Dr. Hooves. Now, nicknamed Dr. Hooves because of the way he looks like David Tennant's character of the person in Doctor Who, and because of this thing called a cutie mark, which is an hourglass, which suggests that he's the keeper of time. And then there's another background pony that became really famous and is kind of like a mascot throughout the whole fandom, is Derpy Hooves. Now, Hooves got its name because of the overlooked animator joke in the first episode of the series had cross eyes and a scrunched up nose and a kind of look. So the fandom really thought this was really funny and they grew attached to it, and the production team knows this, and so they added this like sort of like an Easter egg sort of character in future episodes. And this happened until about episode 14 of the second season, and then they changed the character in one episode. And I have a little clip that shows what happened. It's gonna start. Oh wait.
Where's the clip?
It's through YouTube.
Go for it.
Okay.
I just didn't know it was already saved or not. Yeah, there you go. Make sure the volume's up on your speaker, left-hand side.
Careful, Derpy! I'm gonna do any more damage than they've already done. I just don't know what went wrong. Yeah, it's a mystery. Nice work, Rainbow Dad!
So you can see like they gave her derpy eyes and a kind of a derpy voice and quasi attitude, and the Brony community thought this was really funny. They were really appreciative of the production team doing this. There are also some people of the fandom who thought this was really offensive, mostly to mentally challenged people. So to appease those fans too, they altered the episode a little bit. They altered the episode a little bit to where she changed her voice and her look a little bit, and I'll show a little clip that shows that. It's going to open up. Or not. Okay, I'll just keep going on then. But instead, like, they changed her voice and they changed her eye look so they're normal, and she gave like a more girlish voice. And the Brony community thought this was appalling, so they made like petitions making like Save Derby and like all that. And so the team like assured them that this wouldn't happen in future episodes unless you did the same. Now, in conclusion, the Brony community is growing strong, and so is the show. It is in production of its 3rd season, and I think you should give the show a try before judging it, because judging a show just by like not watching it essentially is kind of prejudice, and I don't think you should make that kind of judgment until you actually see the show. So that's it.